Welcome to Meeting Malcolmus, a pavement podcast. Hey, it's JD here, back for another week of being uncool and underqualified to do the job that I'm about to do, which is to comb through the tracks of seminal indie rock band Pavement, one by one in chronological order, with the hopes of getting a glimmer of light and understanding better this band that we all enjoy, and maybe someday even getting a chance to meet Malcolmus. So there's that. How are you all doing this week? Is everyone safe and healthy? I hope so. I am over here. Had a great day yesterday. Was supposed to record this, but I ended up getting into the beer, and by the time I sat down to record, I was a bit too sloppy. And I thought, you don't deserve sloppy, you deserve proper. So here I am on Thursday morning, preparing this for your ears. So there's that. Last week, I want to thank people who came out to the Pavement Live watch-alongs that I hosted. I hosted one on Tuesday and one on Friday. Hoping to do a couple more of those next week. It was a lot of fun. Basically, there's like a YouTube ripoff that you can stream YouTube videos in, and it has a chat function and everything. So it's like we have our own channel, and we can all meet there, and met some really cool people. That was cool. Found out that two of the people in the group on the Friday were right here in my backyard. So that was really cool. And I want to thank them for ordering stuff from the store. That was really cool too. I had a coupon last week for the store, 10% off. Here's the deal, folks. If you're looking to order anything from the store, which is, you can see it around Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I have links for it. If you need a link, let me know. And if you're looking for 10% off, let me know as well, and I'll send you a coupon code that you can get 10% off in the store. The stuff is pretty reasonable, and obviously the funds go to a good cause. My fat wallet. Oh yeah. Listen, speaking of good causes, we've got the bonus feed. And this week on the bonus feed is going to be the full interview that you're going to hear snippets of today from my sit down with Bob Nastanovich, which was absolutely fantastic. We talked for well over an hour. I had booked, 30 minutes of his time, and if you've heard Bob interviews before, you know that you don't even have to ask him any questions. I had asked the Twitter feed and the Facebook group and the Instagram group if anybody had any questions for Bob, and I didn't even get through my questions. So I was unable to ask your questions, but fuck, that guy is just dynamite. He's friendly, he's fun, and just a heap of good times we had. So I'm going to play you a couple clips from that interview right now, and meet you on the other side where we'll listen to Brinx Job. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
How are you?
It's pretty excellent, all things considering.
Good. Yeah, where are you? Toronto?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Yeah, things are kind of bad there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is sort of nutty, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, Iowa's bad, but, like, we're not, it's just not, it's about as one third as bad as, like, maybe 1/10 as bad as New York, and, like, maybe 1/5 as bad as LA. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, we're definitely, Des Moines, obviously our biggest city, and we're definitely proceeding as we should, as far as I can tell. But the imminent dangers are not as severe as major urban areas that are nailed. I mean, actually, like in our case here, I think we've got about 100 COVID-19 cases, and about 40 of them are in eastern Iowa, and most of them are all directly related to a cluster of people that got off of an Egyptian cruise ship and brought it in. So that's about nearly one half of the cases in the state. And then I think we have 10 community spread cases in Des Moines or Polk County, which is, 600,000 people. So, we're kind of, what you call manageable, but, in respect to the rest of the country, and because of the rest of the country and the world, we're pretty cautious. So I'd like to think that at least where I live, we're, in a better spot, in terms of, the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. Did you ever in your life think that you would experience something like this? This is bananas.
No, I mean, I never really considered it because I don't really think along those lines.
You're pretty positive.
No, it's just like, I'm not an, epidemiologist. I mean,
right. Fair enough. Yeah.
And, I know that from all the traveling I've done and stuff like that, you're super aware of waves of sickness. And, of course, we've had epidemics. But a situation like this, a pandemic, while always a possible thing, was never at the forefront of my imagination, but it makes sense.
Oh, I heard the telltale sound of a can opening. What flavor are you drinking?
I'm a diabetic, so I got to drink this. There's about 4 beers I can drink. I got to drink this shit. It's amazing. You can drink. Are you a beer drinker?
I am. Yeah, I'm also diabetic. So.
Thankfully, you mentioned 6-pack. Thankfully, for the first 36 years of my life, I didn't know I was a diabetic. But for the last 16 years, I've been one. So I either have to drink. Basically, what I drink is those beers where it tastes like you've taken a beer and poured out half and filled the remaining 6 ounces with sparkling water.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically like beer water. So I drink Bud Select 55, Michelob Ultra. There's one, Bex makes a low carb. Anything that's low carb. Bex makes a low carb one. I think Corona does now. I imagine they'll be going on sale.
Oh, man. Yeah, totally. So this band that you used to be in, or that you're still in,
yeah.
It's just, know.
Quite technically, I still am. Yeah.
Yeah. Scott says, like Spiral Stairs says, it's funny the way he says it is he's like, every few years we get a phone call and it's like, let's go back to it, guys. And he's like, just the phone calls have just, they get longer and longer in between.
What's that? I'm sorry, I missed your question.
No, I was just saying it's, like you're still in the band. The question would be though, does it blow your mind that it's 25 years for Wowie Zowie in a month?
That kind of feels like it's about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have been 27. I mean, yeah. Thinking back then, the old Easley studio in Memphis, which was a real comfort zone for us. We'd all been in there before. And myself, a lot of times, would probably be the only recording studio in the world that I ever felt entirely comfortable in. And I think that the most significant thing about Wowie Zowie is that it's the only Pavement record I feel like was a 5-man and completely indicative of like of a band as opposed to a project. It was the Pavement record was most like a band making a record, like most bands do, as opposed to a recording project.
Wow.
Because of the previous year with Crooked Rain and the amount of time that we were spending together, and then throughout the course of the Crooked Rain touring, which was very extensive, I included like 10 Canadian shows. We played Saskatoon.
Oh my God. That's great.
Yeah, we played Calgary on that tour. Definitely Vancouver. I'd have to think. I'd say at least 7 or 8 Canadian shows, probably 2 in Toronto.
I mean, if you played Saskatoon, you probably hit 10. You probably hit 10 because Saskatoon would be
Winnipeg for sure.
Oh,
Winnipeg, for sure. You know. So yeah, we basically spent that entire year together, 94, and then we didn't really stop going into 95 because we went to Japan and Australia in 95, New Zealand as well for the second time, all 3 of those places for the second time. And we were constantly together. And what would happen at the end of any touring era of Pavement for any of the first 4 albums, towards the end of the tour, we would start to, we're playing selected songs off of previous records and playing, just like any other band, playing the current album of the album you're touring for. We're playing as many songs on it that were bearable live in most cases, or that worked live. And so at a certain point, we would kind of start working on other stuff, whether it ended up being like B-sides or entirely discarded, or in the case of Wowie Zowie, we had enough material because we spent enough time together and had, as much as Pavement ever did, gelled as a unit, where we had this kind of togetherness and everybody was making a full contribution to the process, and everybody had been in studios before, and we'd separated ourselves into a different era in terms of personnel, like Steve West, who joined the band just before Crooked Rain, had very much become a huge part of the band. And so when we went in the studio to make Wowie Zowie, we had quite a lot of material, and some of the songs were almost completely finished or mostly finished. We had a pretty good idea of how they were going to go. And then some of them were, as you can tell by listening to it, some of them were made up on the spot. Some of them had even under different titles. Some of them had even entered Pavement live sets. About 80% as true as they turned out on the final project. So sort of the great part about that recording process is we all felt not only like full-fledged members of the band, and we felt like a unit, which we sort of always did on the road, but not often did in the studio. But in Wowie Zowie, that was certainly the case. So everybody sort of felt like they were really in a band. Whereas, I think Scott and Steven probably always did. And, Mark to an extent, me to an extent, and Westy, who was, definitely had paid his dues, as they say at that point. just felt that we were a full-fledged band, and then in terms of actually recording the songs, we're with Doug Easley and Davis McCain in a great studio, and we knew it well, and we knew Memphis well, and our friend Sherman Wilmot hosted us for the most part. We were well looked after, and it was really fun. And I felt like after Crooked Rain, in which there was an attempt by the certain facets of the music industry to make Pavement a bigger thing than it was actually ever meant to be commercially, that we definitely kind of got back to what the band started as in 1989. And that was kind of a band that was more individual and did their own thing, even though I think that certainly the music between the start and Crooked Rain was very much Pavement. I felt like, 95, we'd kind of firmly established ourselves. And also by putting out songs and making songs that were sort of pure Pavement, we were clearly indicating that this is who we were, and that, we weren't going to be your next Nirvana or your next Pearl Jam or any of those things. We didn't, we weren't marketable in that way. And we kind of cared mostly about being the band that we wanted to be. So
you're comfortable in your skin, and I think that's like a really important thing, and I think it comes across in the record, right? Like the songs are there. Like,
I don't think anybody in the band actually, whether it be, I think to a certain extent, everybody in the band suffers from anxiety in some sort of way, and despite their attempts to be laid back or slacker or whatever, we cared a lot about the band.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're ever really comfortable in our own skin. I just think we'd figured out that we needed to be ourselves, and I think we always had been. But I think kind of why was always like, no matter what, like, let's be ourselves. And a lot of people are loyal. A lot of people like it, and they're gonna like this. And if they don't, and it's too weird for them or too strange sounding or like it freaks them out, that's just the way it goes, because this is Pavement in 1995. I've been asked the question several times, what's your favorite Pavement record? And always is my favorite Pavement record, because, from a personal standpoint, was that all 5 members of the band and the 2 gentlemen who recorded the record, in fact, in Doug's case, he played on Father to Sister of Thought at least. And So
so laid back. It's just such a laid back. That pedal steel is so, oh fuck, it just works so well.
And that was his instrument. He played it.
Yeah.
You know?
And
he's great.
What is the song on Wowie that like encapsulates the record to you? Is there one? Is that like a dumb question to ask? Like, is there a song that is Wowie Zowie to you? That whole experience of like you guys being a 5-piece band and feeling like one, and you know, having it all come together and, you know, all clicking. Is there a song that represents that in any way?
There are 4.
All right.
There are 4. Grounded, for sure.
Oh, is there a better song to play live?
It's always set up really well. I mean, I've written 80, 90% of our live set list, you know, when we played live, and Grounded is one of the 5 to 10 songs that could start or end the show or start an encore. Just because of the intro and like, just, it's, you know, it's got great dynamics and it's dramatic and his guitar's beautiful on it. So, and everybody plays and like, you know, it kind of it draws you in, you know, like
it's very cinematic. It's a really cinematic kind of song.
It's beautiful guitar and like, it's a great song and the words are great, but like, it just kind of like, it's a great song to start a set with because it draws people in. That song for sure. AT&T is another. I think that when we made AT&T, which is one of Eibel's favorite pavement songs of all time.
That's cool.
I thought that, you know, despite like the fact that a lot of the other songs on the album are pretty far out, I thought that we kind of like, I think AT&T we kind of felt like was, you know, for lack of a better way of putting it, kind of like an ass kicker. And the interesting thing about AT&T, if you listen to it and it turned out this way live, is that like, it's actually like 3/4 of a great song. And like, it just didn't, it's not much longer than 3 minutes, but like, we just didn't figure out a way to ever end it properly. And it gets a little bit repetitive at the end, but that was like the song that we thought was like, but we don't have to worry about the fact that there's not like, you know, hits like, you know, like there was on Crooked Rain, you know, it's like AT&T's got that kind of covered. And then Fight This Generation.
Yeah.
I thought kind of became like sort of like Pavement, sort of like imaginative, like battle cry. I think we felt like, especially, it's one of those songs that we played quite a bit live.
It's your Teenage Wasteland.
Yeah, I think so. Like, and like, I think that, I was never really, I think it's actually turned out to be, I mean, I think it's good on the record, but I think it actually turned out to be one of those rare Pavement songs that had a better shelf life as a live song.
So good. Yeah.
And then sort of like, Half a Canyon is a very important song to me. Just like Fillmore Jive or, Finn, even Stop Breathing to an extent, because it was like it's a bit of a showstopper. Like, it's very self-indulgent to have songs that are over 5 or 6 minutes long for Pavement. So it had to have a lot of elements to it.
Right.
And I just thought it was like wonderfully and delightfully strange and rock. I mean, I think like, if I listen to it, like, and think about the influences on it, they're there, you know, but at the same time, like, I think we should have played it more. I think it always worked. I'd like to play it again. So I'm hoping that, you know, hopefully when we do play again, that'll be on there. So yeah, that's 4, right?
Yeah, that's 4. That is my, or a portion of segments from my interview with Bob Nastanovich. Again, if you want to hear the whole thing, it's about an hour with a couple tracks put into it. Some Mercury Rev and some Pavement. And yeah, you can get that on the bonus feed. It's $3 a month. You find that on the website. I'll be throwing a link up for that on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram too. It's $3 a month. You get access to, I don't know, there's 14 episodes or 15 episodes up there so far. It's all the B-sides from Lux and Redux is where we're at so far. But we'll get to all of them. So there's that. If you don't do it, that's cool too. Hey, listen. That was Brinx Job that we listened to a couple versions of in the middle. We heard an instrumental live version from my Live at the Palace CD that I have from 94. And it's cool to just hear them jam it out. You know, they sound great. They sound dynamite. And it's really great. As far as the studio version goes, it's very dynamic. A lot going on in there. But to me, it's a throwback to, not from a sound perspective, but it's a throwback from a concept perspective to Perfect Sound Forever, where you've got a full song and then you've got a song fragment, you know, sort of paired with it. Or pardon me, Demolition Plot. You know, that's paired with it. There's a song and then a segment of a song. So it's an idea. But by the same token, it feels complete. Like it, you know, it says what it has to say. I'm assuming it's about a Brinks truck robbery. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't think that we can really peel back the layers too deeply. It's just a fun rollick. And, you know, apparently they did play it live even. So, it sounds like they didn't have, lyrics for it yet, because the concert that I played it from is from 94. And obviously they went into Easley Studios in 95 to record Wowie. So there's that. We're going to talk a lot more about Wowie Zowie in general. We've got a guest next week on the episode we're going to record with, one of my podcast friends. And we're going to talk about Grounded. And if there's a song that defines this record and this era of Pavement and became a staple of their live act, it's that song. So I look forward to listening to that with you and doing all the rest of that do-si-do. So be good, be safe, and take care of one another. Talk to you next week. Peace out. Meeting Malcolmus, a Pavement podcast, is a weekly affair. Connect with JD at meetingmalcolmus.com. Please support the pod by rating, reviewing, or sponsoring us at meetingmalcolmus.com. And hey, I'm social. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Meeting Malcolmus.
The holidays are just around the corner, so now's the time to shop new deals at Lowe's. Make your home even merrier with up to 75% off select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees, holiday lights, and more. Plus, don't miss our limited-time weekly deal drops on items like appliances, tools, and grills. There's something for everyone on your list. Count on Lowe's to help you save all season long, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 12/5 through 12/11 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.